Alright everyone, and welcome back to our third and final video of this series where we dive into some potential revenue generation opportunities that the post office could have. And when I was thinking deep into this on what possibly could be done, two things really stood out in my mind on what we could tackle. And before we continue on with the video, I just want to take a quick second to talk about SupplyQ, which is the software I just launched to help small businesses really gain control of understanding their inventory and their supply chain to ensure they never stock out and you're not ordering too much of the supplies you need. Everything's set up in a quite an easy to use manner. It gives you key actionable details about all your raw materials, when you need to reorder, when you're going to run out, and gives you control and power over your forecast. And even better, Claude or AI, I'm using Claude to will literally help you forecast, give you key crucial insights to all your information that deals just with your own business. So you're not copying and pasting things into a chatbot to figure everything out. Everything's right there for the AI to analyze and help you make the best decisions for your business. If you're interested in what SupplyQ might have to offer for your small business, leave a comment below and I'd be glad to get in touch with you. Now back to the video. So the first one being, what is one of the most popular ways for monetization that we see in today's environment? And there's a couple good examples I'll go into. And how can we turn what we would think of for the post office as a hindrance and a deficit to them being profitable, turn that on its heels, do a 180-degree flip, and actually make that a benefit that can be used to their advantage? And what I determined is a unique, maybe not unique, but I guess in the post office's sense it would be unique solution for this, is an ad revenue generation. So when you think about it, look at Google for example, and then even Facebook Meta. Google makes over 200 billion in ads every single year. And you even see it just trying to use Google search has become quite a cumbersome process, just because pretty much every single thing you see is an ad at the top. It doesn't matter what you're searching. Ads dominate over just standard SEO. When you really just want to dig down and get an article on something, no, you get pummeled with ads. And hey, props to Google, it works for them. It generates so much money on both the ad side on search and then YouTube as well. And Facebook's even the same way. You'll hear all the individuals who are getting started in e-com and SaaS and all these places talk about Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads. That's the way to get into the game. And Facebook's optimized that and has generated over $100 billion in annual revenue from that model. And we're not asking the post office to get anywhere near that. In this case, heck, can we bring in less than $1 billion? Can we bring in maybe 300 million in revenue? And the fact that the post office delivers to every single address 6 days a week, it's a unique market opportunity that literally no other entity in the United States, or even the world for that matter, has at its disposal. They have direct access to everybody's mailbox. So companies likely should be and possibly would be lining up at the opportunity to get in on some action if the post office does try to go towards some sort of advertising marketing strategy. And my vision for this was, it's not necessarily, hey, we're gonna mail you flyers. It's not like Clipper magazine that we're all used to getting our discounts from Wendy's or Baskin Robbins, or whoever it might be, but a deeply curated list of targeted ads for each individual household. And at the beginning, it might be a little challenging to start targeting the right address or like what each individual address would want, but there's a good starting point with just zip code and demographic data for each zip code, where you have a nice starting point to work off. And then as you understand what ads people are clicking in these curated lists that are going to be provided via a QR code, it's just one individual flyer that's going to be mailed. People scan it, they'll get it on their phone, and boom, there's the all the promotions that any company can sign up for that will that is willing to work with the post office and an ally on this opportunity. But each individual household, we're going to be tracking that. We'll know what people click, and over time, they'll get more and more hyper-focused, detailed offerings that resonate more with the type of products that they would potentially be buying. And heck, in 5 years, with whatever AI opportunities we're going to have to drill down and get into each person's psyche on exactly what they want, those could be very lucrative um, spaces on those QR codes with the exact type of advertising and cost savings opportunities that customers and consumers would line up to go and take. So I definitely think there's real potential for something to actually take off for the post office here. And in our simple example, we don't really need a whole lot of profit from this to actually get the post office profitable by 2029 is my target date. But we'll see what we do to get there. So us just take a look at some of our assumptions that we have off on the left-hand side that we're going to be using to build this revenue model. So if we take households and businesses in the United States right now, that's totaling almost 150 million addresses that we have the opportunity to go target. And if we deliver twice a month or once every 2 weeks, we assume like a market growth rate we'll get like 1% more houses and businesses every single year. So you see up by 2030 we're mailing to 157 million locations. I'm starting very low revenue per click to get companies enticed to come in and join the program. If you look at Google right now, I think they charge anywhere from like $2 to $4 per click is what I've seen, and maybe some really random keywords, or there's probably some cheaper there, but everything's basically over $1, and I don't get to $1 until 2030, and maybe that's even a little high. We probably don't even need to go that high in our revenue per click with the model we're working with here, and starting revenue per, I'm doing like a 35% year-over-year revenue per growth as we're hoping this model takes off, and then we can charge more per click because it's still a profitable decision for businesses to make to actually market with the post office. And this expected clicks per mailer. So I'm thinking the way to think about this is for every 100 households that get a mailer, 15 individuals will click on an ad. But the kicker to really remember is that each QR code is going to potentially have tens to 20s, dozens of potential ads there, and we really only need that one family to click on one of them, let alone that they might go through and click on all of them, just seeing everything that's there. So in reality, if you have one household click on 2 of the ads that they get, then in reality you're thinking of that as double the clicks that you would expect per mailer. So there really is an opportunity if you get a few very motivated people that want to see the opportunities that are coming into their mailbox, that could really send the clicks per mailer into the stratosphere. And again, great targeting opportunities for those people that are clicking more often than not. Relatively modest growth rate, I think at 15% of the click growth rate. And then from the cost side, I wanted to, I think I erred on the side of caution and wanted this project to seem more expensive than maybe it potentially is. So that's why I went with 50 mil in initial cost, and then 50 million in expected annual costs after that. Cost per mailer at 8 cents. The post office charges like about 10 cents per mailer right now. And of course, the post office wants to make a little bit of profit. So I went a little bit less because they're making these routes already for the most part. So the added cost isn't going to be too crazy for them. Basically just the cost of the paper to scan the QR code. So let's see where we're at. 2025, we'll start in the current year. I got my revenue per click, expected clicks here, number of mailers we're actually going to send. So we got to take our total addresses times our flyer frequency. So almost 4 billion mailers sent. And then if we assume 0.15 clicks for those 4 billion, we're looking at 584 million clicks. And then at 28 cents per click, looking at 160 million just in revenue alone from these clicks. And then of course we have to fit in our costs there. So initial costs, and then expected annual costs at 50 mil. Let's see, C12 plus C12, and then cost per mailer at 8 cents times total mailer sent. So at the beginning, we're gonna lose some money on this, and I think that's rightfully so because we're thinking more long term. We don't need to be profitable this year, but as we grow the program, we want to eventually hit profitability with it. But just getting people on board. It's a brand new revolutionary idea, so we need both businesses and consumers to feel comfortable with it. And at 28 cents per click, we can't get profitable, but as people see the value in it, we start getting these click rates higher and the revenue per click higher as there's more comfort with everything that's going on. So as you see, we'll just carry this math out, total clicks, total revenue, whoops, and then, so now for total costs, we don't have initial costs anymore, so we're just going to do expected annual costs, and then the cost per mailer times the total mailer sent. So still not getting the money. We're not getting the money we need, but revenue you see is growing quite substantially with revenue per click going up, total mailing addresses going up, as well as the expected clicks per mailer. And then if we start carrying this math out, there we go, 77 million. Hey, this is a profitable project in the third year, which is a pretty nice spot to be. And then from there, we just keep going, chugging along. And then by the end, look at that, 2030, potentially $1 billion business if everything stays where we expect it to. And even if we don't, like maybe this 28 cents is too high. If we start at 25 cents, we're still in a good spot. It's at 112. So I tried to keep it flat earlier at $1 in 2030, but maybe this is too high. Maybe revenue per growth closer to 25%. That seems reasonable. And look at this. Even then, 324 million in 2029, 614 million in 2030. And that's with relatively conservative estimates on revenue per click, expected mailers clicked, etc., things like that. And this is all purely just leveraging the size of the United States and the unique opportunity that the post office has to actually market to everybody in the nation. And if you go take these really nice revenue profits that we're getting from this project over to our simple income statement, look at that. In 2029, we're profitable finally for the post office. Going to be some growing pains in the beginning, obviously, as we we get our costs under control. Natural post office revenue is just going to go up from standard operations. I'm using a relatively simple 1% growth rate, 1.2% growth rate. Operational costs, I'm actually having grow faster than standard revenue operations for this. Not a lot faster, but just a little bit. And maybe that's even too bold of an estimate because at this point, everything should be getting more efficient, most likely in the post office as we get along. But I wanted to assume conservatism in this model going out. But then still look at that. Look at by 2029 we hit income, net income, assuming workers' comp doesn't do anything crazy. I'm just assuming $1 billion per year. And then 2030, look at that. Standard operations plus that ad revenue generations with costs that are compensation costs that are relatively flat because we are able to keep our costs in check with our employers, or the individuals that the post office employs. And then it's just off to the races from there. Look at $1.2 billion that the post office has in its coffers to do with whatever it wants with, invest more in the ad generation and grow that even higher if it really wants to. But when you really think about it, 1.2 billion in the government can fund quite a few organizations. I know the Peace Corps is like a $300 million budget. There's a lot of other government organizations that are under $1 billion that can be funded with income we really want from here. Or it's not the best way to think about it, that the post office profit's going to fund other programs, but it's just less money we need in taxes that the individuals or taxpayers in the United States have to fund these other programs. So any income we can get anywhere, because the FTC is really the only other branch of the government that can like truly produce income that can be used elsewhere. Everything's a win in that regard. And I think there's nice beauty in this situation because it's taking something that was a hindrance for the post office, so many trips to each household. It feels like an antiquated idea to have to get mail delivered every single day, because who checks their mail every day? I don't. But the fact that the post office has access to all these houses, let's use that to its advantage and see what we can generate revenue-wise on ads. And there might be something there. $650 million by 2030, $325 million in 2029. Absolutely nothing to sneeze at. So that's my little case study analysis here, where We looked at some ideas that might not necessarily have worked that well with fleet management. We weren't really able to get profitable by electrifying the the fleet of vehicles at the post office. Go check that out in video 2 if you want more into that. And then headcount management as well, getting savings down into the $3 billion annually just by being a much more concerted effort on the hiring processes. You combine that with standard revenue growth, just the cost of doing business goes up. Inflation 1%, even though that's relatively conservative growth, it really helps a lot when you have an $80 billion starting point. Add in that revenue generation from ads, and there's a route there. It's definitely ambitious because the post office is notoriously unprofitable, but let's go see if we can make something like that work. I thank you guys for watching this, and if you want more videos like this, feel free to chat below in the comments things that you might be interested in me doing a deep dive into, and we'll come back another time. Thanks again for watching, y'all.